Hello, Tower fans. Now, look, I know I've been cheating on you at the moment with Space Wolves, and it's been fun. It's been fun, genuinely. But there's a tournament coming up, and I am feeling like getting back on the old faithful train, you know, going back to the comfy home with the white picket fence and the stability that all of Tau brings. All jokes aside, my quest to learn the entire game has been very, very fun, and I wanted to make a video about something which has been sort of on my mind a lot ever since they got their new kit released and they got one of their abilities reworked, and that is our Vespid. Because the Vespid are crazy good. And now it's not to say that Vespid are going to change the way that we do damage, because that, in my opinion, is not the way that we're going to run them. You know, we see them in the 10 Vespid variant. They can take all these cool weapons, and that's great, but I think that it's too much of a points investment for what we really want them for. And I'm going to show you with some active examples, but Vespid having their ability changed from end of your movement phase, and that ability really was what was holding them back, because now there is a really, really cool bit of tech that you can do with your Vespid to kind of achieve any secondary and also screen out your board very, very effectively, which allows all of your high value units to start heading out to get a lot of high value. It also means that through the course of the game, once you start trading with your opponent, there is something that is still capable of doing these cross-map secondaries, which can really be the difference between winning or losing a game. And I want to show you all of this stuff. Now let's talk about the unit itself. It didn't change at all. 65 points for 5 Vespid. You can go up to 130 mark for the 10 Vespid, and you get access to weapon options and, you know, ignore cover on the main Vespid Strain Leader. All very, very cool stuff. But let's go to Tabletop Simulator and I'll show you how I have been planning to and how I've been getting in my rep games to very, very good effect to use the Vespid and what they actually give us that we've needed the whole time. All right, so here we are on TTS, my favorite tool to practice 40k. As you can, whether you own something or not, get the models that you need, try them out, try a bunch of different lists. It's one of the best resources that we have as competitive players, or even just casual people that want to be very, very smart with their money. Now, it's already been updated in Forsorg, which is really, really cool, all of the new sculpts. And so when we talk about Vespid, they fill a role that made Retaliation Carter feel very, very good, but that was a previous combo where you would take an Enforcer or a Cold Star if you wanted to, and the Uppy Downy Enhancement, which allowed you at the end of your opponent's turn to pick up the unit, and then in your reinforcement step, Deep Strike them down. Now, Vespid do have the Deep Strike keyword, and that was so critical for a couple of different reasons, where you could make that Enforcer or Cold Star your Warlord and then take a secret mission and then, you know, kind of deep strike them down. And we're seeing a little bit of the meta come away from Retaliation Carter, especially because secret missions were nerfed so heavily, so you couldn't play a kill everything, give up some stuff, and then still score decent primary by playing that game plan. And Vespid, 1 or 2 units just gives the shift that we've seen to Kalyon such ability to play the map and also make sure that you are doing some, you know, high-level movement tech to make sure that you always stay in the game. So let's go over to a map and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so I've just loaded us into a map. We've gone for Tipping Point because this, for good reason, has become quite a popular one with tournaments and with players. I personally love it quite a lot. And you'll notice that we've got a lot of space that we need to be able to block out, because we've got, you know, our home objective has, from the inside of the coin, like 13 and a bit inches, from there 10 inches. Now, it means that you can have somebody sitting back here, but then you've got to think about your diagonals this way, you got to think about your diagonals this way, and then you've got a lot of staging ground that gives you no benefit to be there later in the game when everything's starting to push forward. Now, with our Vespid, what I've been using them to do is spread them out, because as long as I can, you know, kind of guarantee that my opponent doesn't have any guns that they're going to be able to get in range to, you know, through this tiny little sliver of a visibility point, be able to target them with. If they don't have that, and very often they're going to be dealing with, you know, breaches and hammerheads and crisis suits and riptides and all that sort of stuff, if we've got these guys at the back, we're, screening off so that nothing but like single wound models can get in. And if we are worried about single wound models, you just move it across a little bit so there's no chance they get in. You're blocking off over to about here. And then you just have something on your home field, which is also blocking out. And you can kind of use multiple units in that way. A lot of time I may have like a hammerhead, which is dominating these fire lanes. And so its ass is hanging out like right back here. Now, what you do at the end of your opponent's turn, every single time, you go, all right, I'm going to pick up my Vespid. Then in your turn, you draw your secondary cards and see what you've got. If you've got 2 kill secondaries and you're worried about your opponent dropping stuff in through rapid ingress, or you're worried about screening on your next turn, you just go, okay, I drew kill secondaries. I don't need to do anything. You do your movement phase, then bang, the Vespid just goes straight back down. And now your opponent's got like nothing they can do to drop into your backfield, but you had them sitting in reserves so that if you got like established locus, for example, you could just go, all right, you haven't screened out this tiny little portion of your backfield back here because you're rushing forward to get me. This 65-point unit now just gets me, maximum points on that secondary. Or behind enemy lines, or any of these things that, you really need to have a unit pick up and go, and might not have other units that can do it. Like Devilfish are quick, but a lot of the time you're using them to brawl over the center objectives. Now, the other thing that you can do with Vespid, aside from the pick up CE cards and then drop back down, is also, if I've got other units, let's drop in an army. So let's say I've got my double Tiger Shark list, which I'm not running anymore. I don't even know if it's points legal. But let's say, it's a turn where I'm bringing in my Tiger Shark. It has to come in wholly within 6 inches of the edge of the board. And I go, all right, so I picked up the Vespid at the end of my last turn. The Tiger Shark's going to be here for screening. I don't need it there anymore. However, with where I've positioned, I've got a little bit of a gap. So my backfield's taken care of. However, over to the right side here, I've got no unit because let's say something went badly over this side. All right, I'm not putting anything over there. However, my opponent may want to rapid ingress something here so that he can run on and take my hammerhead. We then go, all right, it's the end of my reinforcement step. Then they do their rapid ingress. We then go, all right, Vespid squad just down here, meaning that there is now 18 inches between them. There's no rapid ingress on this side or to threaten the hammerhead on their turn. It means that his rapid ingress is now, all the way back here. And that might be fine for, okay, I'm going to take this objective, but it shuts down the play of being able to get on top of a high value unit and kill it. It means that you can do stuff that then pushes your opponent back because you had this unit, you picked up at the end of their turn, you got to see where everything went, and then when you're looking at your reinforcement, identifying where rapid ingress might hurt you because it is a big part of the game, especially for armies like Custodians with their Venatari use it quite well. If you've got Marine armies can use it quite well. Drakari, if they're using their transports to come out and then move and then jump out and charge you and all that sort of stuff, there is a lot that you can shut down with this, which is really, really cool. So using this new unit with the ability that, let's be honest, we were kind of screaming at GW to give them from the start of the edition. This is all some really, really high-level play that doesn't actually require a lot of, big brain thinking. It's just remembering that we want to pick them up at the end of our opponent's turn, and then if we need to, just put them straight back down in the same place because stuff didn't line up. But if we have them in Deep Strike, they give us a lot of value over time. Let me know what you think about the tech. Let me know how you've been using your Vespid. Again, I don't think the 10 Vespid unit is actually worth it. I think it's too much of a point sink and it makes deep striking harder because you got more of a board presence with the number of bases, but let me know how you guys are using them. As with everything, I talk about stuff in the highest level competitive sense. Don't let me or anybody else tell you how to play your models if you enjoy it, but if you are looking for some high level tips, then this is one of them. And if you would like to get some more and you'd like to get some coaching from me, there are links in the description. Thank you to all of my patrons who make all of my videos possible, especially my Pantheon tier members. You guys are Giga Chads and get coaching from me all through the month, as much as they want. basically ping me and I'm on. So yeah, thank you to everybody, and make sure you do all the internet things, like and share and comment and all that sort of stuff, or don't. I'm not your dad. See you in the next one, Chassos.